What's better in life than chocolate and rum? How about a Rum Manhattan infused with silky cacao butter, finished with a cherry dipped in ruby chocolate, or sharing ideas with fellow bartenders on the road in Brazil? It's not really a question, is it? Today I'll show you exactly why rum and chocolate make the perfect pairing, and we'll finish the episode with a simple trick to make all your chocolate creations stand out. So if you're a fan of rum or chocolate, you'll really want to hit subscribe and tune in for future episodes too. It's cocktail time.
It's cocktail time.
Welcome to the very first episode of our Rum and Chocolate Masterclass series. Today I'm excited to announce a special partnership between Cocktail Time and Diplomatico's Artisans of Taste. The partnership is built on celebrating craft, quality ingredients, and great pairings that take rum beyond the glass. Learn more about how you can win a trip to Brazil through the link in the description. This year's Artisans of Taste program is in search of the best regional Diplomatico cocktail that uses cacao or anything from the food of the gods. It's the perfect challenge because rum and chocolate both have rich, complex flavors that pair beautifully. But let's not limit ourselves to just chocolate in the classic sense. Cacao offers us so many ingredients to play with behind the bar. It's not just one thing, it's an entire palette of flavors, and we'll explore them through 4 episodes. From the cacao bean itself, we can work with nibs, cocoa powder, hot chocolate, cacao butter, finished chocolate bars, cacao essential oils, and even chocolate pastries. And then you have the different types of chocolate: ruby, white, milk, dark, each with their own tasting notes. Milk chocolate brings dairy richness with caramel and hazelnut notes. White chocolate is delicate, buttery, often with vanilla notes. Dark chocolate can be dry, bitter, even earthy. It really showcases the bean's variety. And ruby chocolate is slightly acidic, with berry-like sweetness and a creamy texture. When you start combining all these forms and flavors, the possibilities for cocktail ingredients multiply fast. That's what makes this series so exciting. If you've been watching Cocktail Time for a while, you know we've explored some of this already. We made a brownie Manhattan, our own chocolate liqueur, and even rum hot chocolate. But now we are diving much deeper, and today we are starting with something special. A cacao butter washed rum for a chocolate Manhattan with a ruby chocolate dipped rum soaked cherry. This will show how simple techniques and thoughtful ingredients can transform a classic. Here's what you'll need to make this delicious cocktail: cacao butter infused rum, sweet vermouth, Angostura bitters, a little saline solution, and of course the cherry on top. But these are infused with rum and dipped in ruby chocolate. I'll show you how to prep these ingredients, then we'll make the cocktail. For the cocoa washed rum, you'll need Diplomatico Reserva Exclusiva and cacao butter. Reserva Exclusiva is rich and smooth with natural chocolate and coffee notes, perfect for this kind of infusion. To create the perfect environment for the infusion, we'll use a sous vide technique. So into a bag, I'm first adding 11 ounces or 330 ml of Diplomatico Reserva Exclusiva. Then add 40 grams of cacao butter. Seal the bag with a double seal using a vacuum sealer or a vacuum chamber. And place this into a sous vide bath, set at 52 degrees Celsius or 125 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours. This will infuse the rum with rich, silky cacao butter without losing any of its aroma because of the low temperature and a sealed environment. Give the bag a gentle shake once or twice in between. In the meantime, you've probably finished with the ruby chocolate cherries, but we'll get to that in a second. I'll show you how to finish the cacao rum first. Take it from the sous vide bath. Chill it first, then place the bag in the freezer, so the cacao butter completely solidifies. Then it's time to open the bag and strain the rum slowly through a coffee filter to get a clear, smooth spirit with subtle cacao notes. If you need an idea on how to use the leftover butter, check out my hot buttered rum episode. Once our buttery rum has filtered, we'll just bottle it, add a label, and that's it. Now for the cherries, which you can actually make from the start to finish while the cacao rum is in the sous vide bath. For this beautiful and delicious garnish, we'll be infusing cherries in Diplomatico Mantuano rum before dipping them in melted ruby chocolate. Mantuano is great for infusions like this, with warm, slightly woody notes that will soak right into the cherries. Together with the chocolate coating, this will make the perfect treat with our cocktail. I'm using 350 grams of cherries, and I'll soak them in 500 milliliters or 17 ounces of Diplomatico Mantuano rum. I'll cut away a tiny part of the cherries at the bottom, for 2 reasons. It will make the infusion easier, as the rum doesn't need to penetrate the skin, but it also makes the cherries easier to stand on their own. Remember to keep the stems on the cherries, as you'll need them for the easier dipping into our chocolate. Once the bag is sealed, place it in the sous vide bath that you're already using for the cacao rum, but leave this in the bath for just 1.5 hours. Then bring the contents of the bag to room temperature. Cut open the bag and simply strain out our cherries. Don't forget to save the infused rum. We'll need that for another creation in this series. As for the cherries, place them in the fridge before the next step. For dipping, we'll need to melt some ruby chocolate. This pink hued chocolate was first introduced in 2017 by Switzerland's Berry Celabaud, and is arguably the fourth unique chocolate type, after dark, milk and white chocolate, while the exact production process is a trade secret. The pink hue comes from the selected cocoa beans and a short fermentation process, plus the addition of citric acid. To melt the chocolate, I'll just place it in a bowl over simmering water. Keep the temperature of the chocolate below 40 degrees Celsius or 105 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll talk about tempering chocolate in a future episode. You could also use a sous vide, but it's not really necessary. Once melted, we simply dip each cherry fully into the chocolate, holding them by the stem for an even beautiful coating. Again, when you're doing this, it's better for the cherries to be cold. Once coated, set them on a parchment paper to cool and harden. Another great thing is that these can then sit in the fridge for at least a week, and you'll want to make a few extra, because they're just as delicious on their own as they are in the chocolate Manhattan. We now have everything needed to make our cocktail, including our staple, Saline Solution, which enhances the flavors in your cocktail, just like it does in cooking and baking. You just dissolve 20 grams of salt in 80 grams of water, add it to a dropper bottle, and that's it. Now, let's make the chocolate Manhattan. We are starting with a chilled mixing glass and a clear ice block tempering, while we have our glass already chilling in the freezer. First I'm adding our rich base, 2 ounces or 60 ml of the cacao butter washed Diplomatico Reserva Exclusiva. Next, 3/4 of an ounce or 22.5 ml of sweet vermouth, a staple of any Manhattan cocktail. Then a dash of aromatic bitters, or 2 if you're using this precise dasher bottle. Finish it off with 2 drops of saline solution to make all the flavors pop. Now add plenty of ice and give it a good stir to chill it properly and get the right dilution. Grab the chilled glass from the freezer. I'm using a stemless tulip glass and place the ice block in the glass. Make sure it's tempered so it doesn't crack when you strain the cocktail over it. You can already see the silky texture of the cocktail from our cacao butter wash. And now the literal cherry on top. Time to add a rum infused and ruby chocolate dipped cherry. Beautiful. But it goes beyond that. A wonderful chocolate aroma that leads into the silky texture from the cacao butter, lifting the chocolate and coffee notes of Diplomatico Reserva Exclusiva. It's rich, balanced, and still unmistakably a Manhattan. And let's not forget the cherries are not just pretty. They add a rich, sweet, slightly tangy note, really making them the perfect addition to our chocolate Manhattan. And there you have it. Simple techniques, thoughtful ingredients, and a result that's anything but ordinary. One of those techniques was the simplest way to make your chocolate cocktails pop, adding salt. This simple addition highlights chocolate sweetness and deepens its flavors without making it taste salty. I hope this episode and our whole Rum and Chocolate Masterclass series inspires you to experiment with this amazing pairing in new ways. If you already have a recipe you like or one you're working on, share it in the comments below. Our friends of cocktails can help you find the last missing piece. Or for a finished recipe, we might even feature it in an upcoming issue of the Cocktail Times newsletter. So make sure you're subscribed. Until next time, cheers!